Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Tompkins County Legislature. And tonight is September 30th, 2025, and we're going to have a budget forum tonight. The legislature is here in force, and I'm so pleased to see so many people in the audience with requests to speak. If you haven't filled out one of our blue cards in the back, please do that and send it forward. The budget process for the Tompkins County Legislature has been a long and involved one, starting last April. We've had a couple of budget retreats, and we've had our county administration working very hard with all of our departments to come up with a proposed budget. Over the last 3 weeks, the legislature has had presentations from all our departments and agencies with their requests and a brief overview of what their department is doing, and that has helped to educate us. We always decide that at the end of the presentations and before the legislature starts on changes to the recommended budget, that we hold a budget forum. Because what we don't want is for folks to think that it's, when we get to the final public hearing next October, November, that it's all been decided before we hear from them. So this is your opportunity to talk to us. We do have quite a few people, so we will be limiting the comments to 3 minutes. We've invited people both here in chambers and also on Zoom to speak to us. I think we have just one on Zoom.
Several.
We have several on Zoom, so we'll probably be going back and forth a little bit. We're going to start out this evening asking our county administrator, Corsa Kumfi, to give us a brief overview of the budget, and then we'll turn to your comments.
Okay. Thank you very much. I was running to get here, so sorry if I pause and drink some water here and there.
Microphone.
Well, good evening. Thank you for joining us. This is a very important discussion about Tompkins County proposed 2026 budget. My name is Corsa Kumfi. I am your county administrator and also the budget officer. The purpose of this forum is to walk you through the key element of the county administration's recommended budget, explain the priorities, and also outline financial pressures we are facing. And we will welcome your questions after the presentation. So move on to the second slide. So a quick bottom line. So the total recommended operating budget is $240 million. The portion funded by the property taxes, that's the amount we collect from taxpayers, is $57 million. This represents a 4.5% increase in levy from last year. It is also important to note that the state property tax cap for 2026 is 2.7%. So this proposal does require us to override the tax cap. For the owner of a median price home valued around $300,000, the annual tax increase will be about $37. We are also proposing a modest $3 increase in the solid waste annual fee. Finally, the local share of our capital project, which our long-term investment in our infrastructure, is $7.7 million. So where does your property taxes go? This slide provides a simple visual comparison to help contextualize the county's portion of your overall tax bill. So for every dollar you pay in taxes, 38% goes to the city or town of Ithaca, so I'm using that as an example. 47 to the Ithaca School District, Central School District. 15% of that comes to the county. You compare that to Denby, you have 22% to the town. County receive 12% of your tax bill. Next slide. So here's where your taxes are spent. So this dollar bill, we break it down into various cents. So 40 cents of your dollar in county taxes is spent on health and human services. This includes all mandated care for our most vulnerable residents, public safety and justice, which include our sheriff emergency response. The court accounts for 20% or 20 cents. Infrastructure and general government, it gets 15 cents. And the remaining 10 cents support planning, economic development, and culture. So let's dive a bit into those details. So the bigger chunk goes to health and human services, as I indicated. And this area is heavily driven by state mandates. It funds critical mental and public health services, addressing a growing demand for support, especially for youth. It covers social services, programs like child care assistance for eligible families. It also pays for local share of Medicaid, a significant and growing cost. Finally, it provides essential services for our veterans, helping them with employment and benefit navigation. The same portion funds Office of Aging as well as youth services as well. So for the 15% that, So the 20% that goes into public safety, this support the sheriff's office and the law enforcement and jail operations, fund the district attorney's office to support and prosecute crimes, and maintains our emergency radio system for rapid response. It also covers state mandate services like assigned counsel, which provide large legal representation for those who cannot afford it. And probation services that offers alternative to incarceration programs. As I mentioned, 15% goes to infrastructure. So this is, it paid for improvement to our county buildings, including projects that reduce our environmental impact. It funds the maintenance of our county roads network and highway machinery, and it also ensures that the IT systems are secured, modern, and able to support all county operations. So another 15% fund general government administration. This includes the legislature, the county administrator's office, human resource, and also finance and county attorney's office. It also covers essential services you may interact with daily, like county clerk, assessment office, and the board of elections. Next slide. The remaining 10%, as I mentioned, support planning and economic development as well as culture. It supports also our airport, local tourism promotion through grants, and the planning department, which guide land use and development. These efforts are crucial for fostering strong local economy and enhancing our quality of life. So now let's dive into the major drivers of the budget. So what is pushing the budget upwards? These are major drivers we will now discuss in more details: the overall economy, state mandate, local costs, the status of our fund balance, sales tax revenue, and also the necessary capital investment. State mandate are primary pressures. For Medicaid, a change in federal funding means the county must cover an additional $168,000 in 2026. In total, nearly $2 million has been shifted to the county since the change began, which alone accounts for about 3.5% increase in the tax levy. Similar state-directed expansions in childcare eligibility and provider rates add another $265,000 to our cost. So further on the state mandate, you can see significant increase in areas like assigned counsel, economic security, daycare, safety nets. While there is small decrease in few areas, the net effect is multi-million-dollar increase in costs that the county is required by law to fund. Emergency shelter needs. We are facing a humanitarian challenge with a record number of people seeking emergency shelter. This is due to reduced state-run treatment facilities and fewer community partners able to provide shelter. In response, the county is planning a new large emergency shelter and is considering a low barrier as an option. This critical need will require spending above the tax cap in the years to come. Labor and fringe. Our employees are our greatest asset. While we have reduced the number of full-time equivalent positions by 12 since 2024, labor costs continue to rise. All union contracts are settled. The most significant pressure comes from fringe benefit, specifically health insurance, which is projected to increase by 18% in 2026, adding another $1.1 million to the budget. Pension costs are also projected to rise. This chart shows the trend in our workforce. This demonstrates our ongoing effort to manage costs and provide efficiency while continuing to provide essential services. While service demand rises, we are holding the workforce relatively flat to control cost. Sales tax. So sales tax is our largest non-property tax revenue source. We saw a modest 0.6% increase in 2024, and the 2025 year-to-date number shows about 7% above 2024 actuals. In 2026, we are projecting $44.1 million in sales tax revenue. This revenue is vital for offsetting the pressures on property taxes. I also want to add that is not the total amount of sales tax revenue we receive in the county. The county shares a significant portion of that with the municipalities. Other revenue sources include casino revenue, which remain flat, and interest income, which is up due to higher interest and prudent investment decisions made by the finance office, or the finance department. The proposed $3 million increase in solid waste fee help cover rising costs of our recycling and material management programs. So capital projects in 2026. Our capital projects with a local share of $7.7 million will fund critical long-term investments. This includes everything from airport project and bridge repair to new highway equipment and technology infrastructure upgrade. These are not optional expenses. They are necessary to maintain and modernize the assets we rely on a daily basis. Fund balance. So the fund balance, in 2023, we revised our policy to target a 25% of the prior year's expenditure for fiscal stability. Because expenditures have grown, the target is now $56 million. Our current unassigned fund balance is $44 million, leaving us with a nearly $12 million gap against our current policy. This limits our ability to use reserves to balance the 2026 budget. The request that has been included in the recommended budget. Department submitted over $16 million in requests. The largest category was maintenance of effort, which was $9.4 million. These fund an ongoing contractual commitment that we have. Enhancement, or what we usually call over-target requests, a new initiative that totals $6 million, and also there was $1.2 million support for one-time requests. The proposed budget fund many critical items. This includes ongoing support for a reimagined public safety initiative like the Community Justice Center, the care team, as well as cost increases for services like rapid medical responses and early intervention. A $3 million contingent fund is also included for any unforeseen emergencies in 2026. To balance the budget, difficult choices had to be made. Several enhancement requests and new position requests could not be funded. We also had to make reductions to some of our partner agencies, like Cooperative Extension and Human Service Coalition. These were not easy decisions, but they were necessary to present a fiscally responsible plan. A specific funding proposal was included in the 2026 budget to support Ithaca Tompkins International Airport. We are recommending a 3-year commitment of nearly $2 million drawn from sales tax, room tax, and a small portion of the tax levy. This investment will stabilize the airport operating budget, help reduce passenger fees and ticket costs, and make us more competitive in attracting and retaining airline routes, a key economic driver for our entire region. In summary, or to summarize, the proposed 2026 budget includes 4.5% levy increase, which is above the tax cap due to significant state mandate and critical community need like emergency shelter. For the medium homeowner, this translates to an increase of about $37 per year. We believe this budget responsibly addresses our community's most pressing challenges whilst making strategic investment in our future. Thank you for your time, and we welcome your questions.
Okay, I think, of course, what we're going to do is start taking comments. We've got a lot of people tonight, and we want everyone to have an opportunity to speak to us. If anybody is here who hasn't filled out a blue card and would like to speak to us, please do that in the back and send it up. We do have a few on Zoom now. And why don't we start tonight? Before that, I'm going to read our rules for speaking to the legislature. When you ask to speak to us, you agree to a three-minute time limit. You agree not to raise your voice. You agree not to use lewd, obscene, profane, slanderous, or libelous language, or speak or act in a manner that would tend to incite a breach of the peace. You agree not to speak about county personnel matters. Personnel matters include comments about the job performance of named county employees, other than elected officials. After 3 minutes, you agree to leave the microphone and yield the floor. Transferring time to another person is not permitted. You agree to be courteous and not make comments, gestures, outbursts, or other disruptions while other members of the public or legislators are speaking. And you agree that if you cause a disruption and are asked to leave, you will leave the chambers. Why don't we start with someone on Zoom, and then we'll go to someone in the audience. I want to introduce Monica Salvage. She's our Director of Communications.
Thank you. How about we start with Kelly online.
Looks like Kelly Suave. If I mispronounce anybody's name, I apologize. Sometimes they're hard to pronounce, and sometimes the handwriting is not all that great on the blue cards, but we'll do our best, and if we do it wrong, just correct us. Kelly, are you with us?
All right. Do you want?
Can we try someone else?
Yeah. Krista Tripp.
Krista, can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, you can. You've got 3 minutes. Why don't you talk to us?
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to say a word, and I apologize for not being there. I want to start by thanking everyone for their process and for consideration of everything. I am the executive director of Downtown Ithaca Children's Center, so I am one of the entities who both proposed stable funding and is part of the reduced funding that Human Service Coalition has responded to meet the request to reduce the funds to there. I want to reiterate the importance of maintaining child care for families of all backgrounds and means. Our center gives care to 100 children. 57% of those are funded through subsidies. So not only are our staff in lots of ways receiving services from the county and all of our families residing within the county, but 57% of those children are being cared for with other measures of the county, and for us to remain accessible and available to those families is imperative. We continue to work with multiple agencies as a nonprofit and keep very thin margins, and we understand and respect that we're all trying to get blood from the same stone. But I just think it's very important as we look at all these things to, yes, be respectful to taxpayers and all of our budgets, but also to remember that for everyone to continue going to work and paying their taxes and taking care of their spaces and their families, they need to have childcare. And we already don't have enough of that. And our commitment to subsidies is a commitment to the county and to families of all means. And so I just want to ensure that you know we appreciate your process. And we appreciate all the support we receive, but to keep us in the front of your minds and to understand that entities that receive those funds through Human Service Coalition and that process do completely respect that we are all working together to serve the greater good and are really trying to navigate along with everyone in that manner. But please be there to continue to buoy us and support us as well.
Thank you for your comment.
Thank you for the opportunity to be able to speak.
Absolutely. Now, in the audience, I have James Smith.
Hi, James Smith, paramedic. When I last talked to you several months ago, I was full of hope that a discussion was to be started on the 55 dispatch codes that the Ithaca Fire Department no longer responds to. Emily Dickinson said, "Hope is the thing with feathers." Mine, as far as regarding the city, has been doused with gasoline and set ablaze. Yesterday, there was a horrific accident in Trumansburg. Trumansburg ambulance was dispatched and they called for Bangs, who sent 2 crews. Things were busy in the county, resources were stretched. In the city, there was an alpha call, non-emergent. Someone had fallen. It ended up just being lifting assistance, but Ithaca Fire no longer responds to that. So one of our last ambulances in the county was called in from Dryden to do this. Between Dryden, the county, and things, and Bangs, communication was done to try to do everything efficiently. Ms. Molinoff promised that the IFPD Ithaca Fire several months ago would meet, review the dispatch codes, and that they would be reviewed by a medical director. I talked to Dr. Koch, the medical director that IFD is working. He was not even aware that they had quit responding to 55 dispatch codes. I've made multiple calls to the city manager, the deputy manager, and the fire chief. No response. I've tried to go in person. I was told to send an email. No response to the email. Quite the catch-22. Legislator Pillar, you talked to the city council. Are you okay with resources being pulled in from the county when the city has not exhausted their resources? Maybe you could pose these questions to the city. My option is hang gliding from the Asteri to the roof of City Hall because I've tried everything. I spoke to City Council last month. no answer. You know what? I've done my career in EMS. This is horrific that the city council is so apathetic and not responding to this. I'm here only because you people have been responsive. I hope that we can make some progress. Thank you very much.
Thanks for your comments. Let's go to Zoom.
Okay. Randy Quackenbush.
Is Randy Quackenbush with us? I see your name. Can you hear us?
Yes, I just joined as a panelist.
Okay. Does that mean you want to speak or you don't want to speak?
Yes. Yes.
Well, then please go ahead. You have 3 minutes.
Hi, I'm Randy Quackenbush. I'm the Vice President of Community Impact with the Food Bank of the Southern Tier. I just wanted to reiterate our thanks for the legislature for the support that you have given our network of food pantries and also our school food center program. I actually just had the privilege of going up to TST BOCES today for their grand opening, and it was a really amazing program that the county helped to fund, and I encourage you all to come visit it. I just really wanted to stress the importance of the food pantry network in Tompkins County as we are navigating through the big beautiful bill and the impacts to SNAP and Medicaid in the coming years. People always turn to food pantries in their time of need. So as a basic necessity in Maslow's hierarchy, just reiterating the support for the food pantry network. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Back in the audience, we have Shelley, who would like to speak to us about library funding.
Hello, my name is Shelby. I have lived in Ithaca since 2014 and am a proud employee of Tompkins County Public Library for almost 2 years. I'm privileged to work with so many specialized staff who provide enviable service to our community. Thanks to our board liaison to the legislature, Rich John, for defending library funding from undue further cuts given its abnormal reduced funding last year. Thanks to our interim director, Susan Curry, for presenting the library's budget to the legislature last week, especially highlighting the need for an additional clerk and senior clerk to assist in processing incoming materials to continue building our own TCPL collection and the Finger Lakes Central Library collection housed in our Ithaca Library. I want to emphasize programs and services that can continue or expand with additional increased funding, which almost exclusively supports staffing. Additional staffing allows the library to cover off-site outreach to our harder-to-reach community members and expanded makerspace open hours, where teens and adults can use our various craft supplies, as well as 3D printer, sewing and embroidery machines, laser cutter, book press, and more for free. Additional staffing allows the library to reduce material processing times, especially for a growing central library collection, as mentioned above, getting new materials into the hands of residents across the Finger Lakes Library region for free. Additional staffing allows the library to expand its program offerings for children and families, such as Chinese language programming led by staff with other staff to assist patrons at service points, again, for free. I look forward to the legislature continuing to support library staff and the robust services they provide to Ithaca, Tompkins County, and the Finger Lakes Library region. Additionally, I support TCAT's request for additional funding from Cornell University, Ithaca City, and this legislature to maintain service to the entirety of Tompkins County. My UAW siblings at TCAT work especially hard to uphold their dignity and service to this community despite persistent staff shortages and other obstacles. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Who's next on Zoom?
Roxanne Johnston.
Roxanne Johnston?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. You have 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Thank you. Hello, I'm the chairperson for the Cayuga Lake Watershed Intermunicipal Organization, easier said as CWIO. I'm speaking here tonight in support of the funding request for CWIO for 2026. Tompkins County has long been a leading steward of water resource protection. Since 2000, the county has been an active member of CWIO and has consistently stepped into leadership roles. I thank you for that long history of support, and I'm here to ask you to continue setting the bar for municipally led stewardship of our water resources by fully funding the 2026 dues request for Keep CWIO. We adopted a fair funding formula in 2022 to provide sustained funding for a watershed manager for all of our municipalities. Our original funding goal no longer allows us to meet New York State minimum wage requirements. So using that same formula, we've increased the funding goal and distributed a phased-in approach to reach that goal over the next 3 years with an increase in dues. Your membership in CWEO offers direct benefits to the county. Your payment of dues secures a voting seat at meetings, a voice in setting our annual work priorities, access to state and federal representatives through direct engagement at our meetings, and through public comment input on proposed legislation, regulation, etc. It provides regular updates on funding opportunities, valuable network opportunities with other municipalities in the watershed, and of course, letters of support for other projects that you're not doing with CWEO. Most importantly, the membership dues sustain the work of our watershed manager, Isaac Walker. Isaac's primary task is to help municipalities secure funding for their water resource projects. He assists with problem identification, finding best fit solutions, connecting project partners, identifying funding sources, and even project management support when needed. Finally, CWEO is uniquely positioned to address water issues on a watershed scale. Municipal boundaries don't line up with sub-watershed boundaries, while problems downstream, say in the city of Ithaca, might require an upstream solution, possibly in the town of Caroline. CWEO can bridge that gap, allowing us to implement more holistic, cost-effective solutions. Also opens up cost-saving opportunities through sharing of funds, equipment, staff, as well as the possibility of mutual benefits being realized by the multiple municipalities. We also collaborate across watershed boundaries. For example, we're working right now in Seneca County for the Seneca Lake and Cayuga Lake watershed organizations to do a county-wide ditch and culvert assessment, which will be funded in the next phase by implementation funding. So those are just some of the benefits. I want to thank you again for your financial support and your active participation at CWEO meetings. And I'll leave you with this final thought. The best way to recoup the cost of your membership is to have Isaac write a grant for you. Thank you again tonight for your time.
Thank you for coming and talking to us. Next we have in the audience Asia Bonacci.
Hello, distinguished members of the legislature. My name is Asia Bonacci, and I'm a librarian at Tompkins County Public Library. I joined TCPL as a permanent staff member in 2014 after receiving my master's degree in library and information science from Syracuse University. Before I landed my dream job at TCPL, I worked there as a volunteer, a student intern, a temporary library assistant, and a temporary librarian. I say I landed my dream job not because it's easy and not because every day is a dream, and not without occasionally questioning the wisdom of entering into a life of public service, but because there is no place I would rather be. I love being part of the fabric of downtown Ithaca. My colleagues and I are dedicated to serving and celebrating the Tompkins County community every day in all sorts of ways, whether it be suggesting a book or two, helping with a makerspace project, signing people up for library cards on and off site, offering story times and writing workshops, or even being a friendly, consistent face to community members who come in each morning after spending the night outdoors. The last couple of years have been tumultuous for TCPL. I look forward to adequate funding and new leadership and know we are poised to make good on our promise to the Tompkins County community and be a place where everyone can belong and find joy in learning, discovery, and personal growth. P.S. Cornell owes ITA and TCAP more. And now I have to go back to work. Thank you.
Thank you. What do we have next?
Derek English.
Derek English. Can you hear us?
Hi, everyone. My name is Derek English. I'm the Executive Director at the Ithaca Health Alliance and Ithaca Free Clinic. I would like to thank everyone on the council for your continued financial support of the clinic over the years. I'm one of the agencies that relies very heavily on the funding the county provides. This year, we were notified that there was going to be a small cut to our funding. I can appreciate the difficulty that goes into these decisions by the council, but I'd also like to note that our clinic serves nearly 700 uninsured patients per year. These are patients who cannot find services anywhere else. We save the county a lot of money in Medicaid spending by allowing these patients to come. I implore you to restore our budget proposal back to where it was, and I thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. In chambers, we have Nicole Jones.
Hello, my name is Nicole Jones, and I'm a former CIU student, and I'm just here to speak on the behalf of their budget being cut and speak on how much they have helped me and other former students just get back into school to help not only the students themselves get their education as well as help the community thrive and become better. So I am just here to say that I would like to put my word towards keeping their budget where it's at to help not only troubled kids or troubled young adults who have been in trouble, but also those who just need help getting back into school.
Thank you. We're going back to Zoom.
Next, we have Bethany.
Bethany, are you with us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead. You have 3 minutes.
Excellent, thank you. I'm Bethany Oyla-Tomez, a mother and former professor whose PhD specializes in environmental psychology and decision-making. I would like to request that the county legislature stop funding the economically unviable airport that is also a climate disaster here in Ithaca. We should not give another cent of taxpayer money to the airport until they can answer the following questions. Number 1, what percentage of traffic at the airport is Cornell related? This information is critical to assess the alleged economic benefits that the airport provides to our community, because Cornell visitors spend most of their money at Cornell, not the county, as reported in Ithaca's own tourism report. Question 2, what percentage of Ithaca's flight volume is private jet traffic? And why aren't private jets being taxed their fair share in the form of landing fees and jet fuel taxes? President Biden introduced a bill to tax private jets fairly. We could pursue those same policies here in Ithaca as part of our Green New Deal. Question 3, where is the evidence that the airport materially benefits Tompkins County tourism? A 2019 report commissioned by Ithaca found that the vast majority of Ithaca's tourists arrive by ground. Only 20% of visitors arrive by air, and we can presume that most of them are Cornell visitors who spend their money at Cornell. My conversations with both commercial aviation and private jet staff at Ithaca confirm that the vast majority of their customers are Cornell affiliated. Question 4, why aren't we thinking creatively about airport funding? Now, let me be clear that from a climate perspective, the aviation industry and this airport should be shut down. Carbon emissions are at acute emergency levels. We cannot keep doing business as usual if we want our children to have a planet. But if we're going to keep this airport going, then why aren't we pursuing the 2 most reasonable funding sources, which would be, first, to tax private jets their fair share, and second, to reconsider the ownership of the airport itself. If the airport primarily benefits Cornell, and if Cornell does not pay taxes, and if Cornell is currently fighting a lawsuit to pay occupancy taxes on short-term lodging at their dorms, then Cornell should own and operate this airport, not Tompkins County. In fact, this is the model for other similar airports very much like ours, including at Ohio State and State College, Pennsylvania. As you consider this ownership option, keep in mind that Cornell has a $10.7 billion endowment. Tompkins County does not. Keep in mind as well that Cornell refuses to pay taxes, including occupancy taxes on short-term rentals. Finally, does the airport have a plan to become financially solvent? We have not seen any evidence to date. I ask that you use our taxpayer dollars for worthy, climate-friendly projects that benefit all of us, including future generations. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments tonight. back in chambers, we have Jeremy Jordan.
Hello, my name is Jeremy Jordan. I'm here to speak on some issues surrounding the library. The first thing I'd like to do is
Get a little closer to the mic, please.
First thing I'd like to do is thank a couple of people. So I found that Susan Curry's leadership has been very stabilizing. I know that some of you had to give her up, but we've certainly appreciated that at the library, as it's been a very stabilizing influence. I'd also like to thank for the intervention of Rich John and Amanda Champion, both as library liaisons in recent years. I think your oversight particularly was drastically needed during those times, and I was particularly happy at the legislature's moves to bring the library into closer compliance. Additionally, I would like to thank the staff and community for continuing broad spread support for the library. We are a community hub. We provide a variety of services from heating and cooling stations to internet connectivity to even fax machines. I can't believe we're still using them, but we are. All the way to making sure that people get into contact with the books and other services that they need in the county. Unfortunately, many of the staff are now being priced out of being able to live within Tompkins County. We currently have been in negotiations for over 9 months for contract negotiations, which have not been fulfilled yet. And we would hope that county oversight continues to pressure them to do that, both so that a real budget can be provided that is actually accurate. So I would certainly hope that that can happen. Finally, I would like to point out that one of the issues that I would particularly like you to look at is really give a close line-by-line look at the budget and look at the comparison over years. This year, we are on budget to spend $189,000 on legal fees, when our average cost has been between $2,000 to $5,000 for roughly the last 15 years. It's only been within the last 2 to 3 years that this rapid escalation in legal has increased. So I would encourage you to look into that and see if that is really benefiting the taxpayers, when in fact that is larger than our entire print collection budget. So I would encourage you all to look forward to that, but I do believe that the core services that the library are providing are still very useful. Our staff are very dedicated, and we would like to see them actually be reasonably recompensed for the efforts that we're putting forward to the county. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much. We're going to go back on Zoom to see if Kelly is there. Kelly, what was it?
Sov.
Kelly Sov. Kelly, are you with us tonight? Kelly, I see your name. Are you there? You're on mute. Well, I guess not. If she comes, we'll come back to her at some point. All right, so now we're going to be going right through the folks in the chambers, rather. And we have Paula Ionide next. Then we're going to have Dave Sanders after her.
Good evening. I am here to advocate that the county approve a total of $174,500 in enhancements and one-time OTR requests that were currently recommended for not to be approved. The organizations that made these requests collectively are OAR, Reach Medical, Ultimate Reentry Opportunity Initiative, and Law New York. And together, the elimination of the budgeting for those OTR and one-time requests is tantamount to a massive reduction in reentry services for the county. Although it is actually a very small amount in the overall budget, its impact on the community-based organizations that provide services and provisions for people who are returning from jails and prisons, who often are at the intersections of housing insecurity, increased health risks. And so these are the organizations that do this incredible amount of work at preventing them from having increased adverse effects, including prevention and remedies for homelessness. And what I would encourage, because in front of you are these incredibly difficult decisions, budget decisions, is to think of those OTR requests as well as the proposed cut to OER's operating budget of 27%. I would highly recommend that you restore that operating budget fully, including the 45,000 OTR request for sunflower houses. And Dave's going to speak more to the details of the impacts of those reductions on OER. But I want to encourage you to think of them as part of the ecosystem of the emergency homeless shelter that you are all diligently working to think through solutions of, because in many ways, the hub of these four organizations do an enormous amount of harm mitigation for those emergency shelter costs. So there's both a cost savings that's incredible here because of those preventative services and dealing with the post-emergency shelter hub of services that are needed holistically around employment assistance, around reducing recidivism rates, around housing assistance, around finding and sustaining permanent housing, and as was spoken about for College Initiative Upstate's educational attainment access, right? And I think if together these things are considered not as little line items in a budget, which I know is how it can be, but as part of a broader kind of proposed solution, I think you can creatively find the funding to restore both these OTR requests and the 27% proposed cuts to OAR. Thank you so much.
Thank you. David Sanders.
Good afternoon. So yes, we had an 8.5% cut in 2025 and a proposed 27% cut for 2026, which would be about $194,000. Now, on a county level, the average salary for the county is $72,800. You add fringe, that's 1.6 to 1.7 staff. How would that affect OTR, where our average salary for our people is $42,800? That's 4.5 staff and a third of our programs, which would be cut. We would have to cut College Initiative Upstate by $58,000. We'd be forced to have to sell Endeavor House. We would have to cut Sunflower House program. That's displacing 17 people. If we displace 17 people under DSS THA, that's going to cost the county $843,000. 25% of that is local tax dollars. OER runs the cheapest and, in my opinion, safest low-income housing in Tompkins County. Endeavor House costs $11 a day per person. Sunflower House costs $10 a day per person. And Eshai costs $85 a day per person. And DSS is $136 a day per person. Sunflower House has been in operation for 3.5 years. We have provided 12,159 days. At DSS rate, that is $1.6 million. How much does it cost you? On average, $52,000 a year. Endeavor House has been in operation since 2018, 9,582 days. At a DSS rate, that is $1.3 million. How much does that cost? $26,000 a year on average. Those two programs alone have saved taxpayers $2.5 million. Tompkins County taxpayers $367 if you compare that to DSS. We currently have an excellent program that understands that pathways out of the criminal justice and poverty involve education and employment. Right now, 93% of our residents have a part-time or full-time job in Endeavor and Sunflower House. The recidivism rate for people with full-time job is 9%. The recidivism rate for people with no job is 40%. By cutting away our programs, you're denying vulnerable populations safe and supportive housing, and more importantly, pathways out of the criminal justice system and out of poverty. Thank you.
Thank you. P.B. Brown, then John Tavares.
Hi, everybody. Before I start, I'd like you to join me welcoming our ancestors to this room so they can guide us, protect us, keep us sane, and most of all, keep us honest. And that's a hard one. First of all, I'd like to say I come to support reentry, right? I'm not one of them organizations who's gonna ask you to please save the monies y'all gave me, because you never gave our organization any. However, we do the work. So I'm coming from, not about money, I'm coming from a mother, an African-American mother, and love of her children. Not just my children, my black and brown young people and elderly in this community. I'm coming to talk to your heart that, for one, since New Roots with Michelle Alexander's, we kind of forgot about why we are where we are. It's a system that has been set up to do what it's been doing. As you being a part of that system, you only owe big time, right? This system has designed, and not only reentry, right? We need to go deeper than that, because we got a system that has lost our children, right? For not just for now, forever, right? We do have to really, because I want to tell y'all something. You find money for what you need. You find, one thing I've learned about America is they find money for what they want to find money for. But but for black and brown, young and old, reparations, you can't find no money for that. It's real important to me as a mother who have watched my children come home from prison and jail, not just my birth children, my children of this community who have been able to access some of these organizations that they have come up and spoke before you. So to talk about, to even suggest of cutting them and not adding to them means we have to look at some things. We have to really look at what is really priorities in this community. And reentry doesn't start when they come home. Reentry starts when they go to elementary school, because they already are counting how many black and brown kids. Out of 10, they already know 3 will be a part of the system. It's designed that way. And I only say that nothing more than watching what has happened to communities and ours mainly. Thank you.
Thanks very much. John Tavares?
Good evening. My name is John Tavares. I'm president of UAW Local 2300, representing workers across Tompkins County. I'm here tonight to speak in support of the budget ask for both TCAT and the Tompkins County Public Library. These are not just line items, they are pillars of equity and opportunity in our community. For TCAT, the stakes are very clear. Without this additional funding, we are facing deep cuts to service. This means rural routes, which already run unlimited scheduled, will lose nights and weekends altogether. For many people outside the city, those buses are the only way to get to a second shift job, to attend evening classes, or to access essential services after standard work hours. Taking away that service effectively cuts those residents off from the opportunity. It creates isolation and it deepens the divide between urban and rural parts of our country, or our county. We've made progress at TCAT. Staffing levels are finally stabilizing, ridership is growing, and we were able to add buses when demand is high. But if we don't secure this funding, we risk losing that momentum and going backwards. Cuts to nights, weekends, and rural service don't just inconvenience people, they harm the working families, seniors, and students who rely on transit the most. As well, the library is just as vital. It is one of the few places left where every member of our community is welcome, free of charge. People go there for books, for internet access, for safe space, for helping with job applications, and for educational programming that lifts people up. In a time when costs keep rising, the library is often the last line of support for families who don't have anywhere else to turn. On behalf of Local 2300, I urge you to fully support both of these budget requests. When we invest in transit and in the library, we invest in the fairness and opportunity and in the future of Tompkins County. These are not costs, they are commitments to the people who live and work here. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm having a little trouble reading the name here. I may get it wrong. Is it Marvik Rogessner?
Oh, Marty Kirchgessner.
Oh, Margie, of course, Kirchgessner.
Of course not.
I should have known. I just couldn't read your writing.
Neither can I. Yes, in a minute. My name is Marnie Kirchkessner. I live at 74 West Jersey Hill Road, Ithaca, in the home my parents bought when I was born. I have been a lifelong advocate for children and families. Parent is the most difficult task people can undertake, and it grows more challenging as we increasingly embrace technology as our community. This is mine. I could not say anything as eloquent as Phoebe just said, but I'm going to continue. My coming here is community access. My coming here is community access via Zoom or whatever is a convenience, most certainly, that can be manipulated to our detriment. I would go on at length about your setting the priority for budget decisions, the people of Tompkins County. Our youth are incredibly vulnerable. Cuts should not be made to proven programs such as those offered by Cooperative Extension and the Ithaca Youth Bureau. Make no mistake, by not granting a modest 3% increase, you are creating cuts. The airport hasn't proven itself after past promises of not requesting taxpayer support. While I don't know exactly how much they want this year, I do know that with coordination of a variety of funding sources, the YES program provided $287,000 in disposable income to the youth of our community. Now, these are not Tompkins County taxpayers' dollars, and it's a combination of all of the sources of income that they get from federal to dispose of. But those are money that are being put in the hands of actual people. This often first-time jobs provide a sense of confidence, validation, and motivation to kids whose life experience may not offer that. As a customer this summer, I witnessed the transformation of a child within one of those positions. As an introverted child became a functioning adult in over 6 weeks. 6 weeks. Minimum wage, 15 hours a week, I am convinced turned that child's life around. Those are the choices you are making when you say, oh, we got to fund the airport because Cornell needs it. When Cornell starts paying its fair share of taxes, then let's be concerned about that.
Thank you. We have next Sharon Brown and then Tristan Parker.
Hello, good evening. My name is Sharon Brown. I am the Deputy Director of OER of Tompkins County, and I'm here to speak about our program, College Initiative Upstate, of which I am the director of that program. College Initiative Upstate has been providing education to the marginalized communities here in Tompkins County. We remove the barriers that separate people from opportunities that are available to everyone else. Coming home from incarceration provides its own set of challenges, and once a person is settled and ready to center themselves in education, they come to our program often to get support. And it's not just academic support. We provide wraparound support. We meet needs of people who maybe need childcare. In the middle of our programming, they may find themselves in need of housing. And I know that Paula, Dr. Yonade, discussed the hub that exists among our organizations, OAR, URO, and others. I want to talk about that sub-community that lies within those hubs of reentry services. That is the education community. We partner very closely with TC3. We are a feeder program. We send people to TC3. College Initiative Upstate is also an alternative to incarceration. When there are individuals who are before local judges and the judge realizes that incarceration is not what they need, or reincarceration is not what they need, they often offer them an opportunity to come to our program. This can't be done without proper funding for the program. So if you cut any funding to OAR, you are cutting someone's opportunity to change their lives through education. Everyone in this room here can speak to the value of education in their lives, regardless of where you ended. Education changes lives. Period. So let's think about, when we're talking about public safety, when we're talking about our community, when we're talking about the quality of life that people have here in Tompkins County, let's think about how they get that quality of life and the role that education plays in it. Everybody here has been educated, and I'd like to believe that if we continue paying it forward and removing barriers for individuals who have already started at a deficit quite often, we can all come together and have a richer, fuller, more productive, more beautiful community. So let's not cut education. College Initiative Upstate is a program of OAR of Tompkins County, and we are serious and focused about what we do. We've been doing it for 10 years. I would like for you to think long and hard about the impact education has on our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Tristan Parker, then Anita Lee.
Hi, I'm Tristan Parker. I am here on behalf of OAR. I have struggled with addiction, homelessness, and the legal system for the last 15 years of my life. Throughout that time, OAR was a place that I have relied on heavily. They were always there to help me with a kind word and a smile. While I was incarcerated, I depended on their phone relay system to communicate with the outside world. When I was released, they offered me help reintegrating into society. Twice now, they've helped me get off the streets and into an apartment. They've helped me get food, my driver's license, and clothing. They have helped me to afford the laundromat and provided me with a safe place to receive mail and use the computer. Frankly, life would be considerably more difficult for people like me without a program like OAR in the community. Our community needs, the neediest in our community depend on the services that OAR provides. I've been sober for over 3 years now. I'm housed through OAR right now, and I'm looking forward to going back to college through the College Initiative Upstate program in January. OAR has been integral to my success and the people in this community. They are a boon for people like me. Thank you.
Thank you. Anita Lee.
Good evening.
And Ashley Kramer.
Okay. Okay. Good evening. My name is Anita Lee, and I want to say why College Initiative Upstate is important, not just to me, but for the community. And I've been going to CIU for the last 2 years, and every time I come around, I'm always welcome. I graduated from CIU in November 2023. I attended TC3 with their help the following semester. I have one more class before I receive my associate's degree in business administration. I was hesitant to take this class because all the problems that I was having. It was an econ class. It's an econ class, all right? And I explained the situation to them, but, you know, they said, don't worry about it. We got you, you know? So the following semester, I end up attending the fall semester. I had a tutor before class even started, so I was grateful. Her name is Tara. She's been helping me. But what I want to say is we need CIU to help with the basics. We got to start at grassroots before we go to the next level. All right. And sometimes you need someone to say that you can do this. We got you. We are here to help you with whatever you need. And like I said, sometimes that's all a person needs to hear sometimes to get them moving. So Sharon, Benet, and Emily, they will always be there to help you on your journey. You know, when they say they got you, they got you. So please don't cut their budget fund. Please leave it as it is. Thank you.
Thanks much. We have Ashley Kramer and then Danielle Back.
Sorry about all the noise. My name is Ashley Kramer, and I'm here speaking for OAR.
As close to the mic as you a little bit.
I'm here speaking on behalf of OAR. I've been incarcerated, I've been homeless, and I've been a drug addict. And the only person that hasn't forgotten my name or brushed me off as a nobody is OAR. They've helped me become a full-time mother, and I have their full support and always have. Losing out on this, it cuts deep a little bit, because without OAR, I don't know where I would be. And I know that's true for a lot of other people too. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Danielle Back. Then Laura Lewis.
Hi, my name is Danny. Just briefly, I was born and raised in Boston, and I moved to Ithaca about close to 3 years ago. I very soon became homeless. I was a drug addict, and today, directly due to OAR, I entered rehab. I have an apartment, and I celebrated a year sober 2 days ago. So I wrote this poem when I got out of the jungle, which I spent about a year in. So it'll give you an idea of like the people that you're taking away from if you cut their funds, because we need them. They are the people your parents warned you about, the worst of the worst. Liars, cheaters, thieves, the whole lot of them. Drug addicts of every kind, IV drug users, needles everywhere, the orange caps strewn across the ground, the iced out individuals, tweakers, taking everything electronic apart, pieces of things scattered all around, hearing noises that aren't really there, seeing things that don't actually exist, the twitches, the endless talking that comes with the high, the stories that they create that leave you wondering where the truth ends and the lies begin, the fiending, selling anything you can find for a shot, stealing things that will be worth trading for drugs, battery packs so the electronics can charge in this place of no power, flashlights to illuminate the path in this dark place, tent city, a palace made of pallets and tarps, campfires fueled by anything that will burn, the smell of burning plastic and human failure. This is where you go when you've lost all belief, when your faith has been depleted, when your river of hope has run dry. They embrace you like family and stab you in the back every chance they get. They'll hold you down while someone beats on you, then help you up, dust you off, and get you high. The true definition of frenemies. People never cease to amaze you in these parts, showing you evils that could only exist in hell, demons disguised as men, devils claiming to be your brother, smiling in your face while they rob you of everything you have, starting with the physical items you possess and not stopping there. They take everything from you. Your hopes, your dreams, all your morals and values. It never ends. They don't quit until you're an empty shell of a human, until you're down and out and stoop to their level. Then they win, when you allow them to strip you of all things good, all traces of humanity now just a memory. This is the future of those who show up here. Almost no one succeeds at leaving. Only a few lucky ones actually get out. Once you're here, you're stuck, drawn back in at every turn. It consumes you, eats at you, calls to you in the night. It will swallow you whole if you aren't strong enough. Welcome to the jungle. Come join our fun and games. Thank you.
Thank you. Laura Lewis and then Susan Curry. Welcome, former mayor of Ithaca.
Good evening and thank you. I'm here this evening as a TCAT board member, the current chair of the TCAT board, and a TCAT rider. I'm speaking tonight in support of TCAT's request of the county, and in fact, the request of all three of TCAT's underwriters, the county, the city, and Cornell, for an increased contribution, an increase of $500,000. Before I go into some of the remarks I had prepared, I also want to thank those who were speaking before me, who were brave enough to come before this body to speak their truths, those who have made themselves vulnerable by coming in front of the legislature and speaking. It takes a great deal to stand up and speak, and I just want to thank you for speaking. A number of people referred to the importance of transportation, of education, of housing. Sustaining transit as a public service helps people get to work, to medical appointments, to school, to shopping, and the critical support for getting people to education and housing, particularly as we've seen more people move outside the city. We have to focus on transit for those who need to move, travel into the city for work. Increasing ridership requires that TCAT provide dependable service and, for some, expanded service in order to increase revenues. The only way of increasing revenues is to increase our ridership. TCAT faces increased costs. Some have been mentioned by others and mentioned in the County Administrator's presentation. TCAT is facing increased labor costs. There is a new contract that helps with recruitment, rewarding, and retaining TCAT employees. Healthcare costs are rising, fuel, gas, and electric. TCAT is in an aging facility. The facility was built in 1992, and I will point out the roof at the facility is the original roof. We're also, which leaks regularly, a lot, which is also damaging the floor of the garage at TCAT. We at TCAT are also facing costs related to tariffs. There is uncertainty in federal and state support. This is before we begin talking about the looming government shutdown. But the federal and state support is something that is of great concern. The state has been supportive of TCAT in the past, but we do know and we can anticipate that with cuts at the federal level, those will filter down to the state. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. Susan Curry, and then Tiffany Walker.
Thank you very
Welcome,
much.
Former legislator.
Yes, well, I just want to say thank you. I know absolutely how hard you're working, and it's always so, so hard because everybody needs so much, and it's all worthy. I'm here to first say a good word about TCAT because I am on the board, and I have watched the new leadership bring about a complete change in TCAT. It's an incredible organization. I also watch all of the people outside of the library get on the TCAT buses. It's an essential service, and the library staff depend on it. Currently, I'm serving as the interim director of Tompkins County Public Library, and I appreciate very much the work that the legislature did to help the library get new trustees. They're fantastic. You did a great job. Thank you. But I also want to say that, when people think about a library, they think about a book. I will say that every format of information that comes out in the world, the old ones don't go away. So you've got layer upon layer upon layer of means of information and access. So, but the library, most people tend to think of the building and the books. It is the staff that makes the library, because the staff are the ones who bring the library to the community every single day, and they work very hard, and they've had a hard year. And I want to just talk about a few things that they do. And this is tax dollars spent very well, because we leverage that money. You can have everybody in the county buy a book. Instead, we use your money, the tax money, to buy one book so that thousands can use it. So it's a really good return on investment. So here are the things. So we connect with all of the schools and the other educational organizations to promote education and reading. We help navigating the digital world. We help with, we provide a place of respite. When is the last place you were ever able to go in where you weren't expected to do anything? You didn't have to buy anything. When did you ever get to go to an organization and ask a question, any question, and have someone actually look it up and answer it for you? It is a place of entertainment along with education, and that is important. We provide programming for literary skills and reading and technology. We have a lot of outreach to connect the community and to sign people up for library cards. We order, process, and make available print and digital materials. We shelve and maintain those collections. Every single staff member shows up every day and gives 100% to the library. So I want to thank you for your consideration of the budget, and I hope that you will allow me to give you a tour anytime, any place. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Tiffany Walker, then Patrick Sewell.
Good evening. I'm the Assistant General Manager of TCAT, and I'm here to express my concerns if you do not pass our request or approve our request, as Laura and John Tavares have also, and Susan, thank you, have clearly indicated. To be clear, we're looking at service cuts across Tompkins County. This isn't going to be just Cornell. It's not going to be just the city. It won't be the county. This is talking about all the programs that we're trying to supplement. People won't be able to get there. County routes already are underserved. We want to add more. Cornell campus, there's a very vital service that we provide at 4 a.m., which is what John Tavares was mentioning from UAW. That's a large amount of the service employees that are trying to get to campus. We cannot, the cuts will include not getting there until 7 a.m. When we talk about night service, right now we have packed buses at night, which is great. We see that the need is there. We're getting people home safely that are at the bars, that are having fun, spending money, and we would have to eliminate that service. And then lastly, we're talking about cutting service or routes entirely, taking away from what the county needs. This is a downward spiral, right? Our funding, how TCAT is funded, is purely based on ridership and miles driven. If we cut, our ridership goes down, we will never be able to get out of this. This is happening nationwide. TCAT is not special. So we're asking for this amount of money from the city, county, and Cornell to help bridge this gap. And then that's our job, General Manager Matthew, who you all saw last week, myself and our leadership team, to bring the ridership back. And I'm telling you, I started in March of last year. I was hired as the HR manager. There were several HR managers in TCAT's short history before I got there. Staffing was completely unstable. Our fleet was and is still struggling. But in the last 18 months, we have made significant strides. Our staffing levels are healthy. We have a good retention. We have good contract to help us with retention that we worked through with UAW very successfully. And we have a fleet plan to help recover, stabilize, and get buses out to where it's needed. Right now, we're actually able to add service when buses are full because they are full. There is a need. We need this money so we can keep going, and we will keep going. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Patrick Sewell. After that, we have Melanie McMurray.
Hello, and thank you for being here. And I understand that this is really tough, so I don't envy your position. I am speaking on behalf of TC3. I don't represent TC3, but I have no work there. I don't think I need to sell it very much because I've already heard the name come up multiple times. It's a pretty invaluable resource for our community, for our county, and also for Cortland County. And also, I guess I should say, I take the bus there regularly. So I took TCAT today. So please keep the services going. The reason why I showed up today, I didn't really have prepared remarks, but I was looking at the highlights from the last meeting, and I saw that there was an opportunity to do deferred maintenance funding. As you all know, one of the difficulties with a large portion of our funding comes from the two counties. The two counties need to agree, and Tompkins County has been a stalwart in supporting TC3's educational initiatives. Cortland County has not always done that. And I was kind of shocked to see that for the first time since I've been at TC3, which is about 15 years, I think the first time, Cortland County has said they want to cover deferred maintenance, a project that we need that's going to be reinvested in our community and in our people. And Tompkins is possibly wavering on it. So I would love to see you all support that. It's very difficult to do. We need the stars to align because we need both counties to agree. And when they align, maybe it's time to do that. So thank you all. And again, I appreciate your work.
Thank you. One more call. If anyone wants to speak that hasn't turned in a blue card, please do that. We have Melanie McMurray, then Doug Levine.
Good evening. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. My name is Melanie McMurray. I am the Executive Director of Friends of Stewart Park. I'm speaking tonight on behalf of both Friends of Stewart Park and the Wharton Studio Museum to request the restoration of $500,000 in hotel room tax funds to the tourism capital budget. These funds have long been critical to tourism and the arts. To eliminate this support for potentially the next 3 years would significantly weaken the ability of organizations like ours to deliver the attractions and amenities that bring visitors to Tompkins County. Stewart Park welcomes approximately 500,000 visitors annually, 1/3 of whom come from outside of the county. The park's combination of natural beauty, historic character, and accessibility don't just benefit our residents, they sustain tourism and strengthen the county's reputation. We're currently working with the Wharton Studio Museum to adapt the historic Wharton Studio building into the Wharton Studio and Cafe project, a vibrant cultural destination that links Ithaca with other Finger Lakes sites of historic movie making. This project has the potential to bring even more visitors and economic activity to our region. The county has long recognized the importance of these efforts, and your support has made possible real progress in revitalizing Stewart Park. If funding is redirected now, we risk losing the momentum on projects already underway, as well as jeopardizing the park's ability to keep attracting the visitors who fuel our local economy. I respectfully urge you to maintain tourism capital funding. Continued investment in Stewart Park and the Wharton Studio Cafe represents a proven return for Tompkins County's economy, our culture, and our community life. Thank you.
Thank you. Doug Levine, and then we have Amanda Norton.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Tompkins County Legislature, not only for serving the community, but for listening to us as well. I really appreciate that. My name is Doug Levine. I'm actually wearing two hats tonight. I have been the Executive Director of the State Theater of Ithaca for the past 17 years, and I'm currently serving as Chair of the Strategic Tourism Planning Board, STPB. And first wearing my State Theater hat, we are now into our 25-26 season. We've had 5 concerts so far. We just had a sold-out show this past Saturday during Applefest. 1,600 people, with close to 70% of our ticket buyers coming from outside of the county. So they're coming into our county, spending money at Applefest, spending money at the restaurants, and of course, staying in our hotels, bed and breakfasts, Airbnbs. What's great about this season is we now have brand new stage lights. We did a close to $300,000 renovation of our stage lights. Went from our old incandescents to LED stage lighting. They are 80% more efficient, going to use a lot less electricity, and there's less heat generated as well. What's key about this project is that it was started with the Tompkins County Capital Grants Program. We received $36,000 to kickstart it, and the whole project was about $300,000, brand new stage lights. They're amazing. And that's just one project that was kickstarted by the Tompkins County Capital Grants. We have redone our bathrooms. We have a brand new bar, just to name a few. The last STP board meeting a couple weeks ago, we were at the Science Center. I saw Lauren over there. And as we drove in, there was construction vehicles, and I learned that that was also spearheaded by a Tompkins County Capital Grants project. It is very important to note that last year, that Tompkins County Capital Grant Program was gone. It's $270,000 was off the table and immediately went to the airport. We had no say in this, it just happened. To say that I was upset is an understatement. People know that, who know me know that well. And I think you will see that with that loss of last year's Tompkins County capital grants, you will see a gap in this community of major projects, okay? So now I'm gonna put on my STPB cap, and they just presented the budget, and there's $500,000 going to the airport this year. That's twice what I just said was taken from the Tompkins County capital grants, $500,000. What that amounts to is the proposed $500,000 cut would necessitate the cancellation of approximately 70% of all STPB grant programs, 70%, okay? And those programs, I mean, Mike, you and I serve on the Community Grants Program, Community Celebration, sorry. You see the impact that these grants have on this community, quality of life, enhancing tourism. 70% of it gone would have a major, major impact. The other thing I want to point out is that, you know, there's about close to 30 of us that volunteer our time for Strategic Tourism Planning Board. And we sit there and I attend many meetings. Many of you guys are on these committees with me. And to just swoop in and basically ignore the work that we're doing is upsetting, to say the least. Okay, we're putting a lot of time into the budget, and then to just swoop in and say, yoink, we're taking $500,000, it's just unfair and it's not right. So please remove that $500,000, give it to what it's meant for, tourism, room tax dollars, etc. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. We're going to take Amanda Norton, then we're going to have someone come on Zoom and we'll take that person. Amanda Norton.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. I'm an owner in and a board member at Gimme Coffee Co-op, but that's not why I'm here tonight. I'm actually here to follow up on the reentry topic that Dave and Paula and Phoebe already spoke on. I'm alive, sober, and free today as a testament to the power. Sorry, I get emotional. And absolute necessity of reentry services. Twice I was imprisoned for crimes surrounding drugs because of an addiction that I battled for most of my life. It nearly killed me. It tore my family apart and caused endless suffering for so many. Today I am 5.5 years clean. I have an amazing relationship with my family, a job that I love, and most of all, I have dreams. I say this so that you understand something. Reentry is essential. These reentry services are here to provide foundational needs like housing, employment, education, alignment with needed services and advocacy for many, and help finding freedom from a devastating addiction. Personally, I also found something so much deeper. I found myself and an ability to breathe deeply that I had never known in my life. Everyone deserves a second chance. Give each person a chance to put their feet on solid ground when they come home from prison. Everyone deserves safety. Everyone deserves a warm home, nutritious food, electricity, clean water to bathe. How do we expect those at the lowest moments of their lives, starting bare bones again after a prison sentence, to face this harsh world without some initial assistance? Who can battle their demons without the right weaponry? We must share our armor. We must provide these services. Today, my son is here. He came home from prison just last week. He's looking for work, applying for jobs, and attending interviews. He's driven, he's forward-thinking and full of light. Social services is already denying him food stamps, people giving him a hard time, but the system treats him like a criminal. We need reentry services for advocacy. Without these reentry services, justice-impacted individuals suffer through the prejudices of society unnecessarily. It is absolutely essential that this legislature fully fund the budget requests made by Reach Medical, Law New York, OAR, and URO. I ask you to do so today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You know, we're very, very proud of the people who come to an event like this and speak to us and stand up and speak their truth. It means so much to us, so thanks to everybody who's spoken, and we've got some more to hear from, the same. Let's go to the Zoom, and who do we have there?
Emily Darling.
Emily, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, you've got 3 minutes.
Wonderful. Thank you, sir. I'm here as a Tompkins County employee and a parent whose 2 children benefit from subsidized daycare. They both attend downtown Ithaca Children's Center, and my 4-year-old attends the after-school program through downtown Ithaca Children's Center, as his pre-K classroom goes until 11:45 a.m. daily. As a county employee, on a county employee salary, I'm blessed to be eligible for a daycare subsidy so that I can work. And so the supports in my life don't get overwhelmed and my children gain social skills and vital education. Without the assistance from the subsidy, the cost of daycare would be what I take home net monthly. Without that help, I'd have absolutely nothing to pay anything else. Please let me be very, very, very clear. I am a proud Tompkins County worker. I love what I do and proud of where I live. But without the entire net pay going towards daycare costs, I'd have nothing else to pay for anything. Please don't take away the assistance to working families. I've also personally witnessed the positive community impact that programs like Downtown Ithaca Children's Center provides the community with the clients I have worked alongside with through my county position and coworkers who also benefit from daycare subsidies and other parents whose children attend Downtown Ithaca Children's Center. They meet such a vital need in this community. The community needs daycare support. Please don't let us go backwards. Thank you for listening.
You're welcome. Back in chambers, we have Greg Hauk. And then we have Kurt Rosenfeld.
Good evening, legislators. My name is Greg Hauk, and I serve as the director of the City of Ithaca's Youth Bureau. First, I want to thank you for your 30 years of support of the Recreation Partnership and for the strong and collaborative relationship we enjoy with the County Youth Services Department. That partnership is vital to our work, and we greatly value the county's continued commitment. I'm here tonight to urge your consideration of the budget enhancements that were not included in the County Administrator's recommended 2026 Youth Services Department budget. One of the most critical, though seemingly minor, is the 3% cost of living adjustment for funded agencies and municipalities. The Youth Bureau is proud that in addition to the Recreation Partnership, we have also been able to extend our youth development services to county residents through our Big Brothers Big Sisters mentorship program, our youth employment service and youth council ambassadors programs, our outings pathways program, and our recreation support services after school programs for youth with disabilities. The reality is that living and minimum wage increases, rising employee health insurance premiums, and higher costs for program equipment and supplies are all putting immense pressure on youth service providers' ability to sustain services. Costs for delivering youth development programming continue to rise, and it is simply unrealistic for the Youth Bureau and other local providers to continue offering expanded access to county residents for these impactful programs without additional support. The cost of living adjustment is not about expansion. It is about maintaining stability in the face of these rising costs, stability that our youth desperately need. I also wish to voice my support for the requested restoration of a coordinator of community youth services position. I know firsthand how essential it is for department heads to have the space to focus on strategic planning and advancing both departmental and countywide goals. Additional staff capacity is what makes that possible, ensuring not only the quality of current programs, but also their sustainability and alignment with long-term objectives of the county. Thank you for your time, your thoughtful consideration of these requests, and your continued commitment to supporting the young people and families of Tompkins County.
Thank you. We have Kurt Rosenfeld.
How you guys doing? My name's Kurt Rosenfeld. I'm here today to speak on behalf of OAR. A little bit about myself. I came home from prison in 2024 after doing an 8-year incarceration. I actually worked in transitional services up in the prison. I had gotten 2 college degrees while I was up north. And the reality situation is, when I came home, I was actually forced into homelessness by the county. Okay, day one, I was actually set myself up to go to St. John's Community Center. It was a Saturday morning, so all county offices were closed. I was meant to just go right to the front door. I had contacted my parole officer within 24 hours of my release. As soon as I got there, all the doors were closed and the place was actually closed for business. All right, so I don't know where in the chain that failed, but coming home from prison to that, I was referred to Dan and Dave down at OAR. And to be honest, I'm actually one of their guys that live down at Sunflower now. From day one to being homeless to now being almost about 10 months later, if it wasn't for OAR's services, I would have been back in prison. That whole 40% Dave was talking about before, the whole recidivation rate, that's me, you know. The fact that the county offices even find it feasible for people to come home to prison with nothing, to actually be able to continue in life and not go back is just mind-boggling, you know. Offices like OAR, I'm actually an assistant manager now for another non-for-profit in Tompkins County, Challenge Industries, all right? I started as a dish room employee. With those college degrees that I did up north, it helped fast-track me into where I'm at now. Due all to Dave and Dan and the statement and the stability that it gave me to come home to. All right, I'm originally from New Jersey, so coming into Tompkins County, completely alien to the resident. I'd have nobody, right? Literally dropped off at a door that was closed, right? And literally Dave was the only one to literally take me in, get me back on my feet, and literally is what you see today. So it's very imperative that the funding that is like going to, I'm like listening to this whole thing. You know, you're trying to fund an airport. You're joking, right? Like it's an airport. We're talking about people's lives, right? You just heard it. We're talking about people's lives, not flying planes. Cornell's got a $10 billion, I work on Cornell's campus, people, right? So like we're talking about reality here. Things like that is not gonna make people free, healthy, survive. We can't afford airports. We can't afford a plane ticket. We're trying to get food. We're trying to get warmth, heat. And the $10 it costs me to live at Sunflower is the only reason why I'm able to live today. So with all that said, I would hope you guys really reconsider the choices you're about to make and really where this funding is really going to go to. Because the reality is a school with a $10 billion endowment fund, I don't really think needs any type of help, right, with taxes. I mean, they're an educational institution, so I think we all know about the taxes, but with all that, that's pretty much what I got to say. Thanks, guys.
Angelo LeBrand.
My name is Angelo LeBrand, and I'm here to support OAR and CIU. I lived in Ithaca since 1989, and at one point or the other, I always depended and relied on OAR. I did a little bit of time recently. I was in a bad way. I was on drugs for about 30 years, and for the first time in my life, right, I came home and I wanted to do something about it. And CIU has assisted me in everything, right? I wanted to get educated because when I was sitting in jail, I was like, the only way to not return back to active use, and the only way not to return back into, you know, the lifestyle of addiction and crime and everything was to be educated, right? And CIU, they made sure that happened for me. I had so many no's, and they was like, don't worry about it. We're gonna make sure you're okay. And they did, they delivered, right? Right now, I'm attending TC3, right? Aspiring to get an AOS degree in applied science, majoring in chemical dependency so I can give back into the community. I'm also not just a client of OAR, I'm also an employee, and I appreciate their services, and I would hope, I really feel like that they underfunded, and I would hope that, you know, their funding would not get cut. I've been dealing with OAR for years, and they have always been there to help people that couldn't be here to speak today, and countless people. Thank you for letting me share.
Another one, a little hard to read. I think it's Josephine Cardavone? Yeah. Sorry. I got it.
Hi, I usually go by Joey, but my formal name is Josephine. And I've never been terribly good at math, but I'm going to try to keep it really simple about the numbers. So the county doesn't have enough money. So it seems to me we want to fund the programs that give us the most bang for our buck. And many other people here today spoke much more eloquently than I am about OAR and CIU. And OAR stands for Opportunities, Alternatives, and Resources. And what they provide is housing, education, help with drug habits, help with mental health challenges, help if you feel like you're being sex trafficked. I forget if I've said everything, but that just means, and Dave already said it, like if someone is being kept in a prison or in a jail or in a hospital or like a shelter, that costs a lot of money. OAR costs much, much less. So the way to solve some financial issues is to really support the programs that give money back to the county. So please, do the math. All right, thank you.
Thanks very much. I have Solomon Blecher. Did I get that right? B-L-E-C-H-E-R?
Yeah, there was a gentleman who left, so.
Oh, okay. Well, we tried. The next one has two names on it, Delia Yarrow or Kate Della Garza. Are there two people that want to speak, or?
No, it's just me, Delia had to leave.
It's the same name, the same person?
It's the same person.
All right, well, thank you.
Timing.
All right.
Thanks so much.
Welcome, and please go ahead.
Yeah, so my name is Kate Della Garza. I'm the Executive Director of Ithaca Neighborhood Housing Services, known as INHS in the community. Delia was here. She's my Director of Homeownership, which includes our major and minor repair program, of which you are a steady and longstanding funder. Thank you for the longstanding partnership that we've had. We're celebrating 50 years in existence next year. And our partnership locally with the county, with the city, is integral to the services that we can provide for affordable housing. And many of those entail serving our most vulnerable neighbors, particularly low-income elderly and disabled folks, in what might seem like small impact, but is actually huge in the lives of people, whether it be a handrail when you come home from the hospital, or a modification to your shower, to make your front steps safe, or a ramp, to fix a ramp. These are things that our minor repair program does daily and in emergency fashion. When we get the call, we respond in an emergency fashion. And it really does keep people in their homes so that they can age in place safely in our community. So $20,000 less, while I recognize it's not the biggest cut on the table today, does simply mean that less people will be served to stay in their places, in their homes, and could be at risk of losing their homes as a result, as some are not code compliant. But I just want to acknowledge that this is really hard. This is almost heartbreaking to sit here, and I don't doubt that it's hard for all of you in serving us here in the community to make these decisions. I'm not sure, and part of that is that every organization on the list today are partners of ours. We don't exist without TCAT. Our residents rely on public transportation. They rely on relationships with OAR. They rely on Reach Medical. They rely on almost every single organization on the list here today. We are an ecosystem of services in the Tompkins County community. So it's heartbreaking to speak about our own cut and then also hear about everybody else's. And so the task before you is huge. And I should acknowledge also that OAR operates out of our South Titus properties, the Sunflower Houses, a very, for the last several years, not long-standing, but relatively new partnership of which we're very, very proud of their success. And so we do everything we can to support them, particularly in the recovery community, and those returning from incarceration. The other thing I want to just quickly note, and I know I'm over time, is please visit any federal government homepage today. If you look at the HUD homepage, all I'm going to say is that it's truly unhinged, the message that is on every single federal government homepage today. We're facing next year unprecedented cuts. And so to face the cuts here that will impact our community resiliency right at a time when the other shoe is going to drop next year for many of us, and our federal funding that comes through you and other municipalities is truly terrifying. So thank you for listening to me today and for all that you do for our community.
Thanks for speaking to us. Samantha Maynard.
Hello, my name is Samantha Maynard, and I would like to address the fact that those who work for Family Treatment Court aren't being as attentive to the children under Article 10 in terms of the parents that are supervising. I feel like the caseworkers should be addressing their hygiene more in terms of like making sure that they have like head to toe wash and making sure that they brush their teeth like twice a day in the morning and at night. And like I know that there's some homes that there's like animals and there's like pee and like poo all over the place, and like people aren't like being told like they need a cleaner environment for our children to be raised in. If the parents are needing help like to get their lives together so that they can reunite with their children, like they should be raised properly until that time comes. So I just want that like to be out there and for people to be aware, like to be more protective in terms of our children, and like make sure they have a safe environment under Department of Social Services. That's it. Okay.
Thank you. Lauren, I think it's Garnese, unless I mispronounced it.
It's Garnice, but very close. Hi, everybody.
Well, let us know how to pronounce it.
It's Garnice.
Garnice, thank you.
Lauren Garnice. I'm from the Science Center. We were here just a few weeks ago receiving a recognition from the county for our impact on the community over the past 30 years. And I'm here today on behalf of us and the many, many other arts and culture organizations in our community that rely on the room tax income to create exhibits, create programs, make Ithaca and Tompkins County an amazing place to live and visit. The Science Center welcomes about 100,000 visitors a year, and over 50,000 of those come from outside of the county. As Doug alluded to earlier, we are in the midst of a project that would not be possible without funding from the Tompkins County Capital Tourism Program They have supported many projects of ours over the years. We have a very old building. It's the old Ithaca Water Treatment Facility, and it needs a lot of work. It was built by community members, over 2,000 of them, over 30 years ago, and funding from the county, specifically the tourism program, makes organizations like ours stable. It provides funding that lets us do these capital projects, which are not things that other places want to fund. And so I'm here to urge you to not move $500,000 of room tax income to the airport. There are many, many, many organizations that rely on that money to survive. And we're important to the fabric of the community. So thank you, and consider that.
Thank you for speaking to us. I have 2 blue cards left. But I wanted to, before we call those folks up, I just wanted to mention that we have some comments that came in to us ahead of time, written comments, and we are going to read them into the record after these speakers. It's going to be a tough one for me. Sagana Kong, please correct my pronunciation.
Oh, yes, that's right. Hello. I would like to first thank the chair and the rest of the members of the legislature for giving me this opportunity to speak, as well as everyone who attended to participate in this matter. I am a student here in Ithaca, as well as a member of the TCAT Writers Advisory and Accessibility Committee, here to express support for further reinforcement and increase in funding for TCAT. As you may know, TCAT has been suffering issue after issue since the past 5 years. During COVID, TCAT underwent multiple service cuts, which resulted in the slashing of routes, including but not limited to the 4 regional 1C rides to the mall, whose route numbers start with 7, bi-hourly Route 11 service for Ithaca College, and slashing of multiple corner campus routes like the 83 and the 93, as well as the cutting of rural route frequencies and their truncation. Almost all of these cuts I've mentioned have yet to be fully restored. To add insult to injury, TCAT had to pull the 7 battery electric buses from service due to the model's defective build quality, as well as due to the manufacturer going out of business, which then added to TCAT's years-long bus shortage. I would like to emphasize that public transportation is necessary infrastructure. One transit bus can put tens of single-occupancy vehicles off the road, providing the community less congestion and less emissions. At this moment, mobility in Tompkins County is at a crossroads. TCAT is rebuilding its bus fleet as well as their driver pool, but further assistance is needed for TCAT to restore service to pre-COVID levels, as well as to be sustainable for years to come. TCAT took the risk to purchase 7 battery electric buses, which unfortunately was from a defective builder, resulting in the need and addition of 5 new diesel buses, which are introduced this year. As buses have a 12-year useful lifespan, it is increasingly more challenging for TCAT to reach its zero-emission goal by 2035. I sincerely hope that Cornell University, Tompkins County, and the city of Ithaca could perhaps also consider assisting TCAT to plan out any other means of electrifying the fleet as well. For example, the decades-old reliable technology of overhead electrification, just putting out there, to reduce the risk of these events from ever happening again. Currently, the federal government is not addressing the shortfall of federal transit funding, and now we're facing an imminent federal government shutdown. I sincerely hope that Cornell University, Tompkins County, and the city of Ithaca are able to step up and provide the necessary resources for TCAT to get back up on its feet, or wheels, depending on your perspective, and provide reliable, affordable, and sustainable mobility for everyone in Tompkins County. Thank you.
Thank you. Our last speaker that I have a blue card for is Zach Wynn.
Good evening. I'd like to speak in favor of the Homeward Bound proposal. I don't know if this has come before you or if it's even in the budget yet for consideration, but I live downtown and I have never seen so many people who are living on the streets. Everywhere you look, seemingly there is someone with all of their belongings in a shopping cart. There's a gentleman who's been up until this afternoon living on a bench in front of the public library. And from my experience talking with some of these folks, many of them are from out of town, some from other states. And if there is any potential to connect people to places where they have ties, where they might have family, and help them escape Ithaca, I think it would be a worthwhile use of money. I don't think it's a cruel thing to get people out of this town, especially if they're struggling with drug addiction or mental illness. This is one of the most expensive places, even the whole county, not just Ithaca, to live in the country. And I'm not sure what resources are on offer for people who are living on the streets who want to leave, but there should be something like that. Hawaii has a similar program where the entire island is full of people who came to have a good time, and they're not having a good time anymore. And sending people home, especially if there is an idea in the program to connect people with services and help them get out of here if they want to leave, I think would be a worthwhile use of money. So, thank you.
Thank you very much for speaking. Thank you all for speaking to us tonight. I'm going to turn to Monica to read some comments that we received in writing.
Thank you. So the first comment did not leave a name. It reads as follows: emphasizing deep cuts in this moment is out of step with reality. Prices are soaring, energy bills are spiking, and we're laying off real people, not just positions, while holding sizable reserves for a building many residents don't want and that has become dramatically more expensive to construct. At the same time, there is a troubling trend of devaluing employees, especially in training. Training budgets are gutted for most, yet exceptions are made for a select few. Why does a 3-person department carry the county's second largest training budget? Our oversight would be better spent understanding outliers like this than asking department heads who know their staffing needs best to repeatedly justify them. Frontline staff are the boots on the ground delivering services. Expecting them to do more with outdated tools and training undermines quality and safety. Please reprioritize, protect jobs, invest in staff development and modern tools, and reconsider capital reserves that don't serve immediate community needs. A budget is a value statement. Let's make sure ours shows we value people and essential services. The next.
I think we have someone in chambers. I just had a note passed to me.
Okay.
Jeffrey, is there a Jeffrey who wants to speak? Yes. Can you say who you are and go ahead.
Good evening. My name's Jeffrey Moy. I'm a student at Cornell. Thank you very much for letting me speak. I know the name and sign didn't get, but yeah, thank you for letting me speak. A lot of other people here today have spoken about the issue of TCAT funding and what it would mean for the community. They've made very good points, but I just wanted to kind of state my personal experience as, student, as a rider, about what TCAT service really means. So before I came to Ithaca, before I came to Cornell, I was told that Ithaca had a very good bus service, that it was surprisingly robust, that it could take you downtown, it could take you where it needed to go. And I was very excited to be able to, to get where I needed to go to Walmart, go to the grocery, go to the park, without having to buy a car or walk like an hour. But when I came here, what I found was that the service that was promised, that had been told to be one of the best in the country, was unfortunately not to standard. And this has many ramifications. This is not just about like, oh, are the buses coming on time? Are they coming frequently enough? Like, this has real world ramifications. For an example, the last 2 years I've been here, I've rarely, if ever, gone down to, the kind of like essentially to South Hill, where all the businesses are, where Target is, where Walmart is, where the Wegmans is, because it takes nearly 2 hours. It takes 2 bus rides to get down there, and it's not reliable. Like, I can't go there at a reasonable time without having to mark out an entire day and sit on a bus that takes too long to come. I can't even, there are times when it says the bus will come in 10 minutes and it doesn't come for another 20. The issue is that a lot of people, students and kind of residents of Ithaca included, cannot rely on the bus to, take them to the destinations they might want to visit, especially further out in town. I know a lot of people, myself included, have not bothered patronizing Stewart Park, it's a beautiful park, but very few of us who don't own cars can get there effectively from campus because there is no bus that runs directly there, and there is no way to kind of easily get there without going through the Commons, which itself already requires half an hour, if not more, of waiting for the bus, taking the bus. And So I urge the legislature to consider increasing funding for TCAT, because on all these issues, I believe it's very important that people who do not have the means to, drive down, which is a lot of people in Ithaca. Ithaca has a very high rate of people who don't own cars, and I think it's very important that these people are allowed to go where they need to without being restricted by poor service or even just being disincentivized to go at all, because as we all know, this affects the health of our city in general. This affects the health of the county. This affects how people are able to conduct business, how people are able to go to work. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's go to another written comment.
Sure. We received a comment from Desiree Grado. I work for OAR of Tompkins County. I'm the housing coordinator. During any given week, I have upwards of 30 appointments with clients who are struggling with homelessness throughout our county. I was homeless and living in an encampment for 6 years, along with 10 years of active substance use disorder. When I started working at OAR, I was on Tompkins County Treatment Court, and my main goal was to help people just like me. My week doesn't start on Monday and ends on Friday. I work on weekends, nights, and sometimes at the most inconvenient times. When I come into work, at times there are 3 or 4 people standing outside waiting to come in and get coffee, get warm, and to just have a safe place to be. We have no shelter. People feel safe here. Every single one of our employees has lived experience. Many of us have had substance use disorders of some kind in the past. Many of us have been arrested. We can relate. Cutting OAR over $140,000 would not allow us to help our clients in the way that we help them now. We are averaging about 40 clients a day, almost all of which are homeless, addicted, and have some sort of mental health diagnosis. Our drop-in center has clothes and coffee. We have donations of hygiene stuff. We have some snacks for people. We listen. It's not about what is best for OAR. It's about what's best for this community and for the vulnerable community that is the topic of so many discussions.
We called Mr. Solomon Fletcher before, and he was out. Now he's back again, so we'll hear from him now. You have 3 minutes. You have 3 minutes.
Yeah, I apologize for.
That's all right. Go right ahead.
This is going to be very short. I just also would like to echo what other people have said about bus funding. I believe that TCAT must be funded by the county, even with rising costs of services throughout the county. And it's incredibly important because not everyone is able to drive, and not everyone really should drive. It's not great for the county for so much traffic to be on the roads. And so transit funding should never be neglected, even when there are necessary cuts. And it's very essential for Ithaca to have a bus system that works for people, and that would mean fully funding TCAT. Thank you, that's it.
Thank you. We have another comment in writing?
Yep, we have 3 more.
3 more.
All right. One comment comes from Sue Ellen Holmes. Good evening, legislators. My name is Sue Ellen Holmes, and I'm here to strongly oppose the proposed 27% cut to Opportunities, Alternatives, and Resources of Tompkins County. These cuts would remove nearly $144,000 from OAR's budget and directly harm the most vulnerable in our community. At Asteri, Ithaca, 40 individuals who were once chronically homeless now have a safe home. In Ithaca, Arthaus, another 40 young people who were homeless or on the brink of homelessness are now stably housed. Together, these programs represent 80 people whose lives have been changed, but 19 of them stand to lose the critical support they need if OAR is cut. I've seen this firsthand at Asteri. The Empire State Supportive Housing Initiative provides case management, but it is OAR that delivers the direct on-the-ground services, whether it's help navigating daily challenges, staying connected to healthcare, or simply having someone to turn to. And whereas Ishai services are voluntary, OAR has longstanding relationships with people who have experienced homelessness and can encourage their participation in services, building trust where others cannot. Without OAR, case management alone cannot succeed. These cuts would not just reduce funding on a budget line, they would unravel the progress we've made, displace people back into homelessness, and close off real pathways out of poverty. At a time when Tompkins County has an escalating housing crisis and only a temporary homeless shelter, protecting OAR's funding is not optional, it is a lifeline. I urge you to preserve OAR's budget and ensure we continue to build a community where everyone has the support they need to thrive. We have a comment from Megan Barber. I urge you not to use room tax revenue to fund the Ithaca Airport. Our arts and culture organizations and other tourism assets, heartbeats of our community, rely on this funding for their continued operations and growth. The Strategic Tourism Planning Board works hard each year to budget and plan in order to provide consistent, reliable funding to these critical organizations and initiatives. Pulling funds to support the airport would have a detrimental effect on this consistency and these organizations' abilities to serve our community and visitors alike. The arts are not extra, they're essential. And one final comment from Leslie Green. I urge the legislature to reject the proposed use of $500,000 from room tax funds to support the airport. Tompkins County's vibrant art scene is important to our quality of life and for attracting tourists, and the room tax money makes a huge difference in its support of the arts. There are many amazing programs that the room tax supports that might no longer exist if this goes through.
Thank you, Monica. I think that brings us pretty much to the end of what we need to do tonight. Again, thank you to all the folks that came and spoke to us, either remotely or here in the chambers or via messages through email. It's always been my most satisfying part of being an elected official is when we have public hearings like this and being able to hear from constituents, free to talk about whatever they'd like to talk about. And tonight we're talking about budget and something that's pretty important to everybody in our county. Our next process will start on October 6th when we will have what we call a voting meeting of this expanded budget committee in which possibly...
Thursday. It's the second.
I said the wrong date, I'm sorry, it's October 2nd. We will have the first meeting of the voting part of the expanded budget committee. And there will be amendments proposed by legislators, and they will be voted on. Glad to have folks. We won't have privilege of the floor at the EBC meetings, so you're going to have to wait. This has been your opportunity to talk to us. Anyone else have anything to say on my legislature? Thank you to our County Administrator, Corsa Comfrey, and our Deputy, Norma Jane. Thank you for Rob Henry up in the control booth, and thank you, Monica, for setting this all up. You did great job.
We have one more comment.
All right.
That actually came in.
Let's do one more comment.
All right. The Strategic Tourism Planning Board supports the Tompkins County Legislature's decision to withdraw their proposed action to redirect $500,000 from the 2026 tourism budget to the Tompkins County Airport budget. This action avoids a situation that would have severely destabilized the county's tourism program, and we are grateful that the concerns raised were taken under advisement. By upholding the integrity of the tourism budget, the legislature has averted the negative outcomes previously identified by the STPB. First, preservation of critical community grants. The withdrawal of the request is crucial because a $500,000 cut would have necessitated the cancellation of approximately 70% of all STPB grant programs in 2026. These programs help build tourism through enhancing capacity for outdoor recreation and arts and culture organizations, which also improves quality of life for the residents in all municipalities across the county. These organizations are still recovering from the disaster of the pandemic. There are no corporate entities in town that could help these organizations replace this shortfall in grant funding. These grants are vital, supporting community organizations and projects that maintain stability, growth, and employment for staff throughout the county, contribute to our quality of life, and making our community a better place to live. Ensure Tompkins County remains a unique and attractive destination for visitors. Maintaining the integrity of the advisory and planning process. The decision to maintain the current tourism funding is a vital step toward restoring predictable, long-term fiscal planning. Previous proposals for ad hoc budget reassignments have shown that such actions fundamentally undermine the entire advisory process despite the STPB's careful review and proposal of the budget. By withdrawing the request, the legislature has affirmed the value of the careful budgeting and the strategic planning conducted by the STPB. This allows us to proceed effectively with our duty to develop a new long-term plan for the county's tourism future. The STPB invests significant time and effort in meticulous budget planning, and the stability provided by this decision ensures that work is not negated. We strongly urge the legislature to continue to prioritize stable, consistent funding for the tourism program to ensure the long-term health and growth of our local economy.
Thank you.
Michael, who was that?
Say that again. Who wrote that?
The Strategic Tourism Planning Board.
Nobody in particular, just the board as a whole, then?
There was no name given.
Okay.
That's a very interesting email. All right, I guess we're going to wrap it up.
Thank you.
Thank you all. We'll adjourn for now.
Meeting, right?